Hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. So yesterday we had two big patches actually. We had a huge expansion drop for PoE 1, and we had patch notes for patch 0.2.1 for PoE 2 at the same time. And oh boy, were these changes absolutely massive. So in this video, I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. Only talk about the most important changes. If you, of course, will want to have to see all the changes, then you can read the patch notes yourself. But I'm just going to try to do a quick summary of what's going on, what's going on in PoE 1, what's going on in PoE 2, and also I'm going to talk about very briefly about what are my plans for the upcoming weeks. But spoiler, we're gonna know live PoE 1, but yeah. Expansion 3.26, patch 3.26. So this is basically an endgame expansion, and of course we're gonna have a league mechanic at the same time. So Secrets of the Atlas, basically what they added is like an endgame expansion where you're going to be doing like you're going to be finding memories, and these memories you're going to be like doing few maps in a sequence, like 3 maps in a sequence, or 4 or 5, something like that, like a random number. And you will be able to juice these maps, like the map that you're going to finish is going to allow you to juice the maps that you haven't finished yet more and more and more and more. And basically this is going to be like an endgame expansion where you're going to be like juicing your maps, like super hard, like juice your maps to the point that hasn't been seen before. Even Mark yesterday said that I think he said that even in regular tier maps, like tier 16 maps, will be even more valuable to run compared to tier 17 maps. This is how hard you will be able to juice your maps. So this is going to be like an endgame mechanic where you'll be able to like get some absolute insane amount of currency and stuff like that. And but I'm assuming that this is also going to get difficult. On top of that, the Secrets of the Atlas, apart from doing these memories, you will be able to find pinnacle bosses. There's 3 new pinnacle bosses with new uniques as well. So it's going to be really interesting. Basically, a new endgame, improved endgame with new pinnacle boss fights. Very good expansion, in my opinion. Next up, we have the Mercenaries of Thrathis Challenge League, if I pronounced that correctly. So this is a league mechanic that they're going to add to PoE 1, and this is basically mercenaries. This is basically mercenaries from, I don't know if you're familiar with that, mercenaries from Diablo 2. The only difference is that there is going to be absolutely massive amount of mercenaries. I believe they said that they're going to be like about 30 archetypes. So there's going to be like something like striker, like a warrior, right? There's going to be like a tank. There's going to be like a mage. There's going to be like a ranger. There's going to be like an aura bot that, basically is going to exist only to support you. And here's the kicker. You will be able to equip these mercenaries with all the items, every single slot, compared to, for example, something like D2, when in D2 they could only wear like a weapon, shield, armor, and helmet. In PoE, you will be able to equip them fully. Every single piece of equipment they will be able to equip, and of course, honestly, like it's hard to like even start explaining in a short video how game breaking this might be, because this might create some completely new archetypes where, for example, you act as a support, you absolutely stack aura effect and like support, like some abilities, even links maybe, and you invest into tankiness as much as possible so that you don't die and your mercenary doesn't die, and then you just invest fully into damage to provide as much damage as possible to your mercenary, and he's going to be doing all the killing. For example, if you want to, you can probably like do like a ranger, so like he's going to support you from the back and like clear leftover monsters. If, for example, your clear speed is not good enough, this could be decent. Or like a mage. For example, if you feel like you are strong enough, then you could just add like a support aura stacker or something like this that was just going to provide auras for you. This like there is almost it smells like there's almost no ceiling to what you could do with all that stuff. And honestly, this sounds really exciting to me, and it opens up like the entire new like wardrobe of possibilities. And I don't even like where to begin with this. This is gonna change the game. This is definitely going to change the game big time. And I'm assuming that this is going to stay in the future, but maybe not. Maybe the power creep is going to be too much. We don't know exactly, like, how powerful these guys are going to be. But I'm excited to find out. Just put it this way. Next up, new content and features. They added Shaper and Shaper Exalted Orb and Elder Exalted Orb on top of the orbs that we had previously. So we have basically Exalted Orb for every influence at this point, which is nice. Some other changes. They added over 20 new uniques. One of these uniques I actually have over here. This ring is absolutely insane. This is also going to be interesting because it's like it triggers Starfall and a melee critical strike, which is going to be like probably really good for Cyclone or something like that. We don't know how we're gonna scale this, but this ring is absolutely insane. This ring basically is well, it's kind of like there's this chest that basically has this ability that your lightning resistance is going to be, enemies in your presence or like in the area on the screen will have lightning resistance equal to your lightning resistance. But that comes with a huge downside because when you're wearing this chest, you're gonna have like minus 200% lightning resistance because you want to stack this as much as possible. Therefore, you're going to die to lightning dots instantly. This is kind of like this, but without like huge downsides. This ring is absolutely insane. One thing that sucks is it has 55% reduced fire resistance. I'm assuming this is gonna be the minimum is going to be probably like 50%. This is not just like 50% decreased fire resistance or something like that. For example, if you have 400 fire resistance, this is basically going to drop it to 200 fire resistance, right? But with 200 fire resistance, if your maximum fire resistance is 75%, that means that your overcapped fire resistance is equal to 125. That is basically that would be basically 125 penetration with this ring, fire penetration. That is absurdly strong. That is just like so incredibly strong. On top of that, the ring provides decent stats. Like it has some strength, has some life. Vermilion ring base. So if this is an example of what unique items they added to the game, this patch, then I'm really excited to see what the remaining ones are going to be. Now, endgame changes. Is there anything good here? Well, they removed. Generally speaking, across the board, you're going to see some changes that they ported from PoE 2. Like for example, here against pinnacle boss fights, you're not going to gain or lose experience. This is really whatever. I would say that this is going to be probably decent for newer players, mostly because for like an experienced player, it doesn't really matter. First of all, it's very easy to get very high level in PoE 1 compared to PoE 2. In PoE 1, it's definitely not unthinkable that you're gonna get level 100, so the max level. It's much easier to get a lot of experience. So this is probably like something like it's gonna be good for newer players, which is it's not bad. Another thing that ported from PoE 2, the breach splinters will drop at the end of the breach, which is absolutely insane. And it's going to make breach farming much more enjoyable. But at the same time, I feel like the breach splinter, the breach stones are going to be even less expensive. So I don't know how good this is going to be to farm, but this is something to keep in mind. Other than that, Horizon Orbs you can use on Elder Conqueror maps so that you can reroll them. Very, very good for SSF. And some other small changes. Of course, the maps got reshuffled. They removed like 20 maps and they added 20 maps to the pool and stuff like that. Right? Atlas passive tree changes. Long story short, basically they added support for the new mechanics. And that's it. They're going to be like some more passives on the Atlas passive tree. Settlers added to the core game. Settlers got changed also because the city is built at this point after 11 months. About freaking time. You won't build it anymore. You're just going to basically benefit. You're going to collect ore in maps, and you're going to benefit. You're gonna do like different stuff in your city, right? And I believe you won't have to spend gold anymore and stuff like that. So this is going to be much more enjoyable to do. A big change that they added is that we're gonna have. I can't see it right here. They added rune grafts. So basically, you won't have this ability to apply enchantments or your weapons anymore. But now runes will have a different purpose. Runes you're gonna put on your passive tree instead of masteries, and they will provide different effects. Some of them were really powerful. There was a rune, for example, that gave you 10% reduced attributes, but 40% increased global defense, which is actually insane for someone that doesn't need attributes. That's absolute 40% increased global defenses for like a mastery slot. That is insane. That is like really really strong. Not only for ward builds, but even for different builds. That is a lot. So something to keep in mind. Betrayal rework. Betrayal is going to be much more enjoyable to do after you're going to kill the boss. First of all, you're going to do your setup, your betrayal setup, and it's not going to reset after you're going to kill the boss, because for the boss, it's going to be like a special item that's going to drop, and you can do Katarina, for example, 20 times in a row if you want. You're just gonna buy the items, the invitation, and you can kill the boss as many times as you want, and your betrayal setup is going to still look the same as it was before. So that's really nice. On top of other changes, like they improved the rewards by a lot and stuff like that, right? Skill gem changes. There's way too many skill changes. Long story short, I'm going to tell you that there aren't too many melee changes. Lightning Strike got gutted from more notable changes. Lightning Strike got destroyed. Frost Blades got the damage from projectiles got reduced by 30%, so Frost Blades lost a lot of clear damage. Lightning Strike's damage got cut in half from the projectiles. And I think there is something else too. I think Vol Lightning Strike got hit on top of that. So the Frost Blades and Lightning Strike especially are I don't want to say that Frost Blade's dead, but Lightning Strike, whew, absolutely devastating nerfs. Other than that, there are there are some buffs to skills that are underused when it comes to melee. For example, Cyclone and Blade Flurry. Other than that, you're going to see a pattern here when they buffed a lot of spells. And later on, you're going to see that they also buffed passive supports, some of the passive supports for spells at the same time, and for channeling spells. Yeah, spells are, I would say, like big winners of this patch, long story short. Support, gem changes, pretty much, yeah. Spells, Arcane Surge is actually insane now. 35% more spell damage, mana regeneration, and 20% increased cast speed, and you can scale this effect with Arcane Surge effect on the passive tree. Or honestly, Arcane Surge, they overdid it. I think it's too strong right now. I think it's way too freaking strong. They overbuffed this. Other than that, some other changes. Returning projectiles got nerfed, stuff like Nimis probably is going to become even more expensive, but we'll see. Ascendancy changes, I'm going to go over them pretty quickly. Berserker got Defy Pain, which is basically like a mini Defiance of Destiny, but I think that it's not nowhere near as good, because this is going to be the Defy Pain. Basically what it does is that you can get a stack every 0.3 seconds, and at 10 stacks and you get additional bonuses every stack, but at 10 stacks it resets. It's like at 10 stacks you will be able to get 30% of missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy per Defiance, which is absolutely insane, because this is even better than Defiance of Destiny. The problem is that this is inconsistent. You could stack it with Defiance of Destiny, you would become pretty OP, not gonna lie. But this alone is pretty inconsistent, because sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not going to work. So this is kind of like, honestly, meh. Other than that, they removed Blitz, so this is actually not that good. They gave Berserker 30% of your life leech is instant, which is actually really strong. This is actually really strong. So yeah, Berserker, it's hard to say. We'll see. Champion, actually, I'm pretty excited for, because Champion got huge buffs. First of all, the Fortitude Ascendancy passive skill now causes you to have maximum fortification instead of 15. So you always have your max fortification. That is I don't want to say it's OP, but that is insanely strong. That is really, really strong. That is even better compared to what it was before, like, a year or two before ago, before they nerfed Champion a lot. because it was 20 always. Now it's maximum. So right now, basically, it doesn't matter if you have 20 fortification, 30, 40, or 50. If you really stack it, you're always going to have max. That is pretty insane, not going to lie. But the best part about it is here, the Unstoppable Hero Ascendancy. Now it provides 3% more armor, evasion rating per fortification above 20, and 3% increased attack speed per fortification above 20. Celestial Brace is like going to go really hard with this. I'm just going to say that right now. But what it makes it really interesting is that this is absolutely insane for armor stuckers. And someone tells me that Champion is going to be the best ascendancy for armor stuckers, like end game armor stuckers in the future, because that is so crazy. 40 fortification, which is not that hard to get, is already going to give you 60% more armor and 60% more evasion rating, and they're both important. This is 60% more and 60% more is like mind-blowingly strong for armor stackers. It's just ridiculously strong, and I'm probably going to be doing like armor stacker this league, like later on, once we get enough currency and stuff. I'm probably going to be, I'll be very closely looking at this guy, because this alone, if you're going to get 40 fortification, it's not like you're investing fortification to get like only armor and evasion rating, which is already insane because armor and evasion rating is pretty much everything for armor stackers. You get the fortification too, so you get the damage reduction, very big damage reduction. So, you know, the problem as always is going to be for armor stackers damage over time, but I bet you can do something with that. So, Guardian, this is interesting because Guardian got the random shrine buff every 10 seconds, which is really cool. So this is basically the effect from Hammer of Faith from PoE 2. This probably you can scale that with map modifiers, with Atlas passive tree modifiers rather. So this can be really strong actually, depending on how it works. And then he got 50% increased reservation efficiency of skills instead of unwavering faith, which is, you know, that's an extra aura basically. It's not bad. Hierophant, Sanctuary of Thought got destroyed really hard, and probably rightfully so because that was one of the strongest passive skills in the game. Saboteur got interesting stuff. He got projectiles have 50% chance to return to you. Projectiles be fired in random directions. This is pretty strong. This is like mini Nimbus basically for free. I mean for free. It's a mini Nimbus. So this is pretty strong. Trickster got nerfed, but I thought that he's going to get nerfed more. I think that these nerfs are very small. But he got nerfed in other places too. For example, you know, huge nerfs to Lightning Strike. So I guess that makes sense. And Elementalist, some buffs. Honestly, the Golem changes look pretty interesting because she got +1 to Golem limit, and also Golems are immune to elemental damage. This is interesting. So like I'm not going to say that I'm going to make a Golem answer in the future, but you know, this is pretty interesting. So the passive tree changes, nothing too crazy. The most notable change probably is this one. Element Mastery that causes hits to have a chance to treat enemy monster elemental resistance values as inverted. Now has only 15% chance from 25, which probably makes this skill not worth it to use anymore, in my opinion. It kind of depends on your build, but it's much worse, right? Unique item changes, nothing too crazy here. Item changes, there's some small, I would say less important changes there. Divination card changes, there's nothing, pretty much that these are the most important changes. One funny change is that the fixed the backward gladiators more than skill ascendancy passive skill was causing lucky blocks to be rolled an additional time. That is hilarious, because if you don't know what it does, basically what it did is that it gave you lucky block. For those that don't know what lucky is in PoE, that basically means that if you fail a roll, let's just say that you have 75% chance to block and you fail the roll and the hit would go through, instead of going through, you roll the block again. So you have another 75% chance to block. But this, apparently the entire league, it was bugged, so that if you failed your roll once, and then you failed your roll the second time, then you would roll again. that is absurdly overpowered, by the way. Like, that basically gave Gladiator The people that used it, they basically had 99% block chance, and that is just absurdly OP. And if it really was the way that the Gladiators had this modifier the entire league, that is hilarious. But yeah, these are pretty much the changes. Very good patch, long story short. I'm extremely excited to play, and yeah, we're gonna play in a week. Next, I believe Friday. So that's it when it comes to PoE 1 changes. I'm going to quickly go over PoE 2 changes. So first of all, they added 22 new endgame runes, 7 endgame talismans, 15 new endgame soul cores. I saw all of them. Some of them are very powerful and actually very useful. I'm not going to go over them, all of them over here, but you can check them out on PoE 2 DB if you want to. I bet they're gonna add some interesting build options in the future for sure, because some of them were like really interesting. They really were. So this is pretty exciting, not gonna lie. Then they increased the number of mythic unique items that will drop. So basically stuff like Astromentis and the rarest unique items, they will drop way more often now, which is great, because the prices of these gonna drop tremendously in the future. From other changes, there's nothing too crazy here at this point. When it comes to monster balance, long story short, they reduced. I'm going to go over monster balance and endgame at the same time. Long story short, they buffed expedition. They nerfed a lot of outliers when it comes to monsters doing too much damage. They nerfed chaos volatiles and these plant thingies by a lot. There was a bug where these plants were doing twice as much damage as they should. This bug got fixed. On top of that, they reduced some of the map modifiers. For example, penetration finally is not 25%. Now it's going to be from 10 to 15%. So that's much better than before. It's still a dangerous mod, but it's not basically like instant death anymore. So that's really nice. And on top of that, with other reductions to damage, from in different places, I feel like it's going to be like much easier to survive basically in the future. So very good changes there. They added 9 new uniques, and there is some changes to the current uniques. For example, Hammer of Faith got buffed by quite a lot. It's actually going to, well, it's not that much, but the random shrine buffs for 20 seconds now instead of 10. I don't know how it's going to interact with. I'm pretty sure you're still gonna get like on average like 1 shrine buff, right? But the damage got buffed a little bit. The guiding palm unique scepters got changes, that they got buffs. Mjolnir got buffed by a lot, and rightfully so, because this mace was absolutely trash. And this potentially is going to open up some possibilities, some build possibilities in the future for sure, because it looks much better now, much better. Especially this +4 to level of lightning skills could be used, I would say, in a very interesting way if you wanted to dual wield these. So I'm not going to go over like what my build potential plans would be, but this could be build opening potentially. Chaos Heart 1500 maximum life, previously 1000. I don't know if this is going to make someone still use Chaos Heart at all, because keep in mind that the penalty is that you have no spirit. That is a very bad penalty, but for some builds maybe that don't really use spirit buffs that much, maybe they will just want to get that huge maximum life bonus. Because, with Chaos Heart you can get 8,000 life, but then again, what's the point when you can get 20,000 ES instead? You know what I'm saying? And obviously, at the end of the day, you would lose a chest slot, so this is kind of painful. Defiance of Destiny got buffed also. Maybe Defiance of Destiny with Chaos Heart would be an interesting option, but, it is what it is. From the new unique items, they added 9 new unique items, and all of them pretty much for, like, endgame builds. The one that is the most interesting to me, because mostly these uniques are for spellcasters and rangers, but this is a really interesting unique, Mind of the Council, pretty much from PoE 1. Attacks have added maximum lightning damage equal to 6 to 9% of your maximum mana. With corruption, I'm assuming this would be up to 10, maybe even 11. This is really OP. I mean, really OP. This is really interesting and potentially build enabling in the future. Like a warrior that would instead be stacking mana, and like you would have like, I don't know, like crazy mana leech, or I don't know, mana regeneration or something like that, and you would split your damage 50-50 between life and mana at the same time, the damage taken. And that will be really strong against bosses, and it'll be really strong in maps, because in maps you can have modifiers that recover your mana on kill, like on jewels or something like that. That just could be like a really interesting build, to be honest, because it will be tanky and you will be doing a crap ton of lightning damage at the same time. So definitely build enabling, and I'll be looking at this unique in the future. It's really cool. It's really cool. I'm hoping that they'll keep on adding stuff like that in the future. And then we have some miscellaneous changes and bug fixes. Basically, I did this video is way longer than I wanted it to be already, so these are the most important changes, I would say. Now, what is my plan for the next league that starts in a week? Basically, the plan in the future that I have is that I want to alternate between PoE 1 and PoE 2, and the leagues will be released every 4 months for PoE 2 and PoE 1. So basically, what we'll be doing is like 2 months of PoE 1, then 2 months of PoE 2, then 2 months on PoE 1, and we'll just keep on going like that. I love the game. I love both PoEs. I think that PoE 2 has great potential to become even better than PoE 1. Right now, I would say that I would give the edge to PoE 1 for sure, because of, just for how long it's been developed. That being said, I'm definitely planning on doing content from both games. Of course, I'm not saying that I'm going to favor one or the other, but I keep on planning. I want to play both games and basically make content from it, for you guys. And the first content from this league, I'll be doing like path of building, some path of building action tomorrow on stream. And basically, I'm going to let you know next week what I'm going to be planning on doing and what builds, and I'm going to reveal my league starter for this expansion for 3.26. So if you want to play, if you want to give it PoE 1 a try as well, if you're here from for PoE 2 content, then feel free to give it a try, because it's a really good game. And if you're always gonna have any questions, then I'll be streaming, of course, and I'm available on the YouTube comments and also on my Discord. So I'll be there to help you out, guys. And yeah, basically that's it. So thank you very much for watching, guys. See you next time. Probably in like 2-3 days, I'm going to prepare my league starter for this league, and then we're going to absolutely no life this game, most likely. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.